The sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the blood-soaked battlefield where Roman legions had clashed with their enemies. The air was thick with the metallic scent of blood and the groans of the wounded. As the dust settled, the commanders surveyed the scene, their faces etched with exhaustion and determination. General Lucius strode through the chaos, issuing orders to his centurions. "Secure the perimeter and start gathering our dead," he commanded, his voice steady despite the turmoil around him. The centurions relayed his orders, their voices cutting through the night air like the sharp edge of a gladius. Roman soldiers moved with grim efficiency, their armor clinking softly in the dusk. They began the grim task of identifying and collecting their fallen comrades. Each body was treated with respect, their faces covered with cloaks before being carried away. The Medici, Roman military doctors, worked tirelessly under the flickering light of torches. They triaged the wounded, prioritizing those who could be saved with immediate attention. The smell of burning herbs and salves mixed with the stench of blood, creating a pungent aroma that hung in the air. With the wounded tended to, soldiers began the laborious task of clearing the battlefield of enemy corpses. The enemy dead were stripped of any valuables and weapons which would be reused or melted down. The bodies were then piled up for later disposal, a macabre but necessary task. As the Roman soldiers worked, they were joined by camp followers and local scavengers eager to pick through the remains. General Lucius had strict orders to allow controlled scavenging to prevent chaos and maintain order. The soldiers kept a watchful eye, ensuring that nothing of value was overlooked. Large burial pits were dug at the edge of the battlefield, far from the camp, to avoid contamination. The fallen Roman soldiers were laid to rest with solemn rites, their names recorded for posterity. The enemy dead were less fortunate, often buried in mass graves without ceremony. Priests accompanied the burial teams, offering prayers to the gods for the souls of the departed. Libations were poured and incense burned as part of the funeral rites. The priests' chants mingled with the sounds of shovels and the cries of the bereaved. General Lucius ordered a scorched earth policy to deny the enemy any resources. The remaining supplies and abandoned weapons were gathered and burned. The firelight flickered across the grim faces of the soldiers, reflecting the harsh reality of war. Back at the Roman camp, soldiers cleaned and repaired their equipment. Armor was scrubbed clean of blood and dirt, and weapons were sharpened and oiled. The camp buzzed with activity, a stark contrast to the silence of the battlefield. The weight of the day's carnage bore heavily on the soldiers' minds. Conversations were hushed, and laughter was rare as they processed the trauma of battle. The camaraderie among the troops provided some solace, a shared bond forged in the fires of combat. General Lucius gathered his officers for a strategic debrief, analyzing the battle's outcome. Maps and reports cluttered the table as they discussed tactics and future plans. The flickering candlelight illuminated their weary but determined faces. In the days following the battle, efforts turned to rebuilding fortifications and infrastructure. Engineers and laborers worked side by side, repairing roads and constructing new defenses. The sound of hammers and saws filled the air, a testament to Rome's resilience. A formal ceremony was held to honor the fallen soldiers. General Lucius addressed his men, praising their bravery and dedication. Medals and commendations were awarded, a bittersweet reminder of the sacrifices made. Wounded soldiers who could no longer fight were reintegrated into society. Some took on roles within the camp, assisting with logistics and administration. Others were sent home, their contributions remembered and respected. The surviving soldiers were given time to rest and recuperate. Bathhouses and leisure activities provided a much-needed respite from the horrors of battle. The warm baths soothed their aching muscles, while games and entertainment lifted their spirits. Priests and philosophers provided counseling to help soldiers cope with the psychological scars of war. Discussions about honor, duty, and the afterlife offered comfort and perspective. The process of healing was gradual but essential for maintaining morale. Soldiers wrote letters home, recounting their experiences and reassuring their loved ones of their safety. The act of writing provided a cathartic release, a way to process their emotions. The letters were collected and sent back to Rome, a connection to the world beyond the battlefield. As the soldiers recovered, preparations for the next campaign began. Training resumed, with drills and exercises sharpening their skills. The memory of their fallen comrades served as motivation, driving them to honor their sacrifices. With the battlefield cleared and the dead honored, General Lucius and his troops prepared to move forward. The scars of battle remained, both physical and emotional, but the legion's resolve was unshaken. Together, they marched onward, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. Our journey through time comes to an end for today. We embark on new adventures every week. If you relish the experience, please like and subscribe.